This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome to Off the Break Podcast. I'm Cody, and with me are Kyle and Eric.
Hey, hello.
Hello, welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back to you.
I am back from Michigan.
Woo!
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was my first time in Michigan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've never been.
And it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that cool story.
Yeah, northern Michigan, Great Lakes area, beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah. To start off, I guess, Kyle, you want to give us your deep dive into Annabelle Comes Home?
Spoilerific deep dive, because Annabelle came out on Wednesday and it is now Friday, so everybody should have seen it by now.
All those Conjuring fans better have gone to see it. Actually, I don't know if many people know that this is part of the Conjuring universe. At least that's what I got out of the movie. My movie going experience anyway, seemed based on the crowds that I was with, it seemed like no one would really know that there's any real ties to the Conjuring. But that's just a guess on my part. I actually don't know if that's true. It just seemed like it to me.
Had you seen any of the previous Annabelles before this entry?
No.
Okay, so you
I
were
made sure
Annabelle
about that.
unaware.
Yeah, I made
going
sure
in.
about that in my review too. I'm like, I only know about the first Conjuring and the bad experience I had from The Nun, because that's not a very good movie. So I was hoping...
Is this better than The Nun?
Yes, exactly. And I was
Okay.
hoping for it to be at least better than The Nun, but I knew it probably wasn't going to live up to how great The Conjuring is. But no, I would say this is actually a good time. This is a good horror movie, just as long as you're not a hardcore horror fan. I think hardcore horror fans won't get the best time out of this movie. I think this is more aimed towards a general demographic that goes to the occasional horror movie just to, have the scares with their friends and to have the good time. Because that's the crowd that I was surrounded by in this movie. And that's why I was able to have a lot of fun from this too, is because Annabelle, or this Annabelle anyway, it kind of seemed to lean towards having a more crazy funhouse horror type of feel to it, while still trying to be serious with its characters, and that part was pulled off well too. But it's not nowhere near like The Conjuring, but it's better than The Nun.
So is the Conjuring really scary? I've not seen any of these.
No, The Conjuring is
good.
really scary.
I don't think any of them are that, because this is kind of what Kyle and I were talking about. If the more horror movies you've seen, there's only so many tricks in the horror movie playbook. So, if you're super familiar, intense and words like that are better fitting. Just because scary is next to comedy, the most subjective thing ever.
Right.
But it's definitely a very very intense movie. The second one's also good, I thought.
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch the second one. But no, that's a good way of saying it, Eric. The Conjuring is just a very intense type of horror.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's not
I have to
Mandy?
catch my breath.
Bloody, weird.
No, it's not like
No.
that. No. Annabelle, or this Annabelle anyway, this is more jump scare horror. And to me, that's the most generic type of horror movie. And at least it played up well to where I wasn't not having a good time watching it. Because after a while, if there's no enjoyment from having those type of scares in the movie, then it's just not going to work. But here it does, and I think it's going to work well for general audience members that occasionally see these.
Well, that's what most people who aren't familiar with horror films think of. They think of jump scares.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's weird and kind of interesting that this summer that they are releasing horror middle of summer. So we had Child's Play.
Yeah.
Now we have Annabelle, and then for the higher end crowds, you have Midsommar.
Oh yeah.
I don't, I just find it that genre is becoming elevated and more of a crowd pleaser. I guess
it's all
turn it out.
Big theater releases are going towards. It's blockbusters and low budget horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say
it gets what people watch.
I say for theater owners in this weird window that we're seeing of 3 horror movies coming out at once, they'll probably want to lean towards Annabelle Comes Home. I think it's just going to get the more mass appeal to it if they want more bang for their buck.
I personally, in my bookings, when I was looking at the 3 of them, I thought Midsommar would be Hereditary and pretty niche upscale audiences and probably not general. And then I thought Child's Play, it came from a smaller studio. I didn't know if it would have the marketing budget to outshine some of the bigger budget like superhero films at the time. So I banked on Warner's and a known like property.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I think theater owners are going to think the same thing too. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the other two movies, and I especially don't want to for Midsommar because I haven't seen that one and looking forward to it.
And it's probably done really well. It's just
it's just for theater owners for that side of things, like that's probably what they'll want. They'll want Annabelle.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully Annabelle then breaks through that a little bit, and we'll see how it does this weekend. It did pretty well on Thursday nights, I think. I have to check their box office. Pull it up real quick. I think it did pretty well on opening.
Thursday or Tuesday?
Wednesday. I'm sorry, I meant Wednesday opening.
Oh, okay.
No, the Tuesday opening is for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Next week.
Next week, Spider-Man.
Oh, I thought you saw Annabelle on Tuesday.
Tuesday night I did, but I mean,
early show.
Spider-Man doesn't have early shows on Tuesday. It's just going to be open on Tuesday.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird little release dates here around 4th of July. It's
because of the holiday. They're trying to get in, like, I think Warner's with the Annabelle is trying to get a full week in before the holiday.
Yeah.
Whereas Spider-Man's trying to capitalize on an extended weekend with the 4th of July holiday.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Spider-Man would be perfectly fine being released on Wednesday before 4th of July, but they want to get that extra day in there because technically on 4th of July, people don't usually go to the evening shows because of fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
And barbecue. So the daytime matinees usually do pretty well, but evening shows suffer.
That makes sense.
Unless it's like terrible weather or super hot. People just want to get out from outside.
I'm going to spend my 4th of July pretending I'm in Sweden at Midsummer. So,
So for Annabelle Comes Home after Wednesday, it looks like it's made $7 million to start with.
That's not bad for a midweek opening because audiences just aren't used to going to midweek openings. So that's not a bad
I remember
gross.
talking to my friends that I went to go see it, and they're like, "Wait, how it's not like Friday yet?"
Yeah, no, we're so conditioned to have Friday openings that when the studios do this, it's very aggravating.
Yeah.
One, because you set your schedules and usually your labor to be heavier on the weekends for the traffic and stuff. And so now you've got these opening midweeks where you're usually light on labor. So that can be tricky on that. And then audiences just aren't used to going except for super, super fans that would know about it. So you're just like opening up a screen midweek for...
It's like, oh, by the way, this new movie is out now.
Yeah. For something, and then by the time the Friday comes around when audiences are primed to go, it's already been out a couple days. I'm not a big fan of them unless there's like an actual holiday, like you come out on Thanksgiving or on Christmas and it's midweek, then that makes perfect sense to me. But these other kind of trying to capture the full weekends are silly. But anyways, moving on. So Annabelle was not terrible, just good general horror.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun watch.
Well, shifting gears here. I went to Michigan last week to visit a client. We booked for the Bay Theater in Sutton Bay, Michigan.
Shout out
to them.
I'm so sorry.
The theater has recently gone from private ownership to community owned. So now it is fully community owned, directed by a board, and they have been trying to fundraise and stuff for keeping the theater alive in this small community. And they got wind that Tim Allen lived around their community, and they approached him to do a premiere night kind of meet and greet thing, and he agreed, and he showed up for the premiere night of Toy Story, the Thursday early show. He could be anywhere in the nation for this movie to come out. He was in Little Suttons Bay, Michigan, doing a meet and greet, and he introduced the movie, and he stayed and watched the whole movie with his family. It was so nice, and it was just nice to have his presence in a community theater. Tickets sold out within like minutes when they put them online.
Oh, I bet.
And overall, I think it was a good show for the community that like, hey, we really care about this theater and we really want to see it succeed, and we're reaching out to others to see it succeed. And it was awesome. Tim Allen signed a bunch of Buzz Lightyear toys that Disney had sent down. And
oh, wow. That's really cool.
I ended up with one, everybody. I ended up with one. Shh, don't tell.
Okay.
Shouldn't bring any back for us.
I know. I'm gonna put a picture of it on the website. Be like, this is my pride and joy right here. The pinnacle of my collection. He signed his tummy, which is even better.
Right next to his inner voice.
Yeah. So and he also brought them a raffle item. So it was a menu from one of their last production meals together, and it's signed by the whole cast. And
oh, really?
So you have Tom Hanks, you have Tim Allen, you have Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's going to be auctioned off at the end of the run, and all the proceeds, because they're nonprofit, go back into the theater. So no one's making money off this. Awesome. Raffle tickets all go back to the theater and go back into upgrades for the theater, which is great. So where the money is going. So they would like to purchase the building. They like to reseed it. They like to expand the concessions, but they can't do that without donations now because they're community owned. So this was just an interesting model. I think a lot of small theaters are going in this direction to be community owned. And this event was just a really good example of what a small community theater capitalizing on assets it had in the community and the willingness of prominent members in the community to help out, like what it could do for an event. So I just was so thankful I got to be a part of that, and it was really exciting. I think that, everybody was a first time board member, and I have never been involved in an event like this before. And so I was learning the process as they were going through with, going through this, trying to
the process of getting
Tim Allen, going through his people, finding out what needed to be done, going through Disney to get it booked correctly and to get the toy sent and stuff. So there was a lot that went into it. And some of the little things kind of got overlooked because you get so focused on trying to get talent there and get the event set up and confirmed that you don't think about the other logistics. And I think one thing that the theater wishes it kind of had done different that everybody should be aware of is they wish they had held back tickets from online. So they had put all the tickets online. Oh, yeah. And they can't guarantee who gets those tickets. So you just hope the people in the community got the tickets.
Yeah, the people who are understand that this is a fundraiser.
Right. But there was no guarantee of that. And I think it turned out okay, but it could have been way better. And on the downside, a lot of prominent people in the community that had supported the theater for a long time missed out on the event because they didn't hold back tickets. So if anybody's thinking about doing a similar promotional event where you have talent on site, always hold back tickets, people, because that was just
a simple mistake that can bite you.
That no one even thought about. They just were so consumed with trying to get the tickets out there to make sure that they had the money and that.
Oh yeah, they probably want a full house for Tim Allen. They don't want Tim Allen to be speaking to 4 people.
Exactly. And you never know with something like that. You just don't know how it's going to happen. So I would say that would be the number one thing. Hold back tickets and really think about when you do hold back those tickets, who you're giving those to. Have a plan for those tickets. Don't just be like, oh, hold back. And then if people complain that they didn't get a ticket, be like, oh, by the way, I have one. No, these are tickets that you want for prominent members, people that have really supported the theater, and if you're a community nonprofit looking for donors, people, give the donors tickets.
Yeah.
So otherwise the event went off great. Tim Allen was so funny. He was such a gentleman on stage, just really down to earth and relaxed. It was an awesome event, and the movie was so cute, and I laughed.
I was gonna say it helps that the movie is incredible.
Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard.
I was laughing through the whole thing
at all the Buzz Lightyear parts, and and it's not because Tim Allen primed me beforehand to just like Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, Buzz is simple Buzz.
I just love him, but I love
Simple Buzz.
The other time I
He's
laughed
always been so simple.
The other time I laughed so hard, laughed hard, was during that RV scene where the RV was going crazy because they were underneath and doing the wires.
That poor dad.
That poor dad. And he had to talk to the cops, and then it was doing it more with the locks.
You corn dad's going to prison.
Yeah.
It just weirdly wants him to go to prison.
Yeah.
That movie healed my soul. It was such a beautiful story.
It was good. A little Woody centric for me. I would have wanted more Buzz, but that's fine.
It was strange seeing it. Not strange, I guess, but it was just surprising to see how Woody centric this one was as compared to most of the others. But I still was able to like it quite a bit because Woody was the character that needed to grow still the most. I feel
yeah,
like,
I feel like most of the other toys
sure.
kind of had their big, massive existential issues handled in the other movies, but Woody just, he just cares too much.
He just needed something more.
So as much as I liked it, like it would have been even more incredible to be able to see Tim Allen.
Oh my gosh!
Just at least like answer questions and that would have been awesome. That guy's amazing.
Is the theater cool? Is it like an old theater?
It's an older storefront theater. It has a stage, so they can do events at the theater, which is great. Now that they're community owned, they can incorporate events more. I mean, like Tim Allen came out on the stage with the screen behind. It was just it was perfect for stuff like that.
Right.
That's awesome.
To capitalize on that. And before they had the day before they had another event in the theater where a well-known rock musician was there signing autographs and had given a talk and stuff. And so the local library had hosted that musician, and so for donations for the library. And so so it's nice to see the community have another option for a space for that stuff.
Yeah, especially for theaters, because theaters are meant for communities, so that's kind of...
They really are.
I mean, it's kind of a bummer to see a theater kind of have to, like, go with just being, like, a community group effort to keep it running, because that can be kind of tough to do, but at the same time, though, it's kind of all brings out the point of why we're going to theaters in the first place, is be around, good people and a good time in the movie.
I like to shout out to the Bay Theater Community Board. They are awesome people, awesome individuals. It really was an individual on the board that reached out to Tim Allen and did the legwork on this. And these are people that have attained like success in their careers, and some of them have since retired. And so they have a lot of this depth and knowledge to bring to the table for the theater, which is great. And they really just had the time and the tenacity to go after this. So the success of all of that was really to the board and all the volunteers, because they are volunteer based at that theater, so no one's getting paid to work the concession stand. And I worked it.
Nice.
I worked the concessions. I tried to go out and get raffle tickets for Buzz. I think I just made people uncomfortable, though. I feel bad. I was just like, come on. And like the Buzz I was trying to raffle off, he talked if you push the buttons on his chest. And so I was like, come on, look, see his tummy. Tim Allen signed this. Click, click. And people were like, it's only a raffle ticket.
I'm just here for the movie. Take it away.
I got some people to buy a raffle ticket.
Probably just like, okay.
We could get this weird lady to leave me alone.
What is she going to do if I refuse?
Put this toy in my face.
I could just picture you doing that too. Like I'm like, yep, that sounds like something Cody would do.
He's trying to be seductive and enticing all at the same time with enthusiasm.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. So hopefully if there's other theaters in this situation that are feeling like that they're not able to pull off something like that, like it is possible, and it can go a long way.
Yeah, and this is a really small theater. It's just a single screen in a small community, but they were able to get something really great. And I think that communities and theaters need to look into their community and say, hey, are there prominent individuals that are willing to support us? And if so, like, let's make the effort to reach out to them. And sometimes that effort can be really fruitful. And if not, then at least you were making the effort. I mean, at least you got there, and who knows what opportunities that creates in of itself. So big proponent of all this. This is a great example of theaters taking action to support their own theater and their own future. So
that's super good to hear.
I was really glad you were able to go to that and get yourself a signed Buzz Lightyear.
He's got to get his own shelf in here. There's
too
many other
glass
toys.
Case.
Maybe a glass case.
I've had my own Woody and Buzz like my entire life, but they're old and scratched, and there's like markers on them. And my sister covered up my name that I wrote on Woody's boot and wrote her name. So seeing this,
now that toy is just confused on who he owns.
So now I'm seeing this Buzz right there. I'm probably gonna have to go out and buy myself a new Woody and Buzz.
Oh my gosh!
Just to have with me.
And we'll squiggle fake Tom Hanks and Tim Allen names on there.
We will not do that.
No.
That ruins the actual authentic one I have.
You don't want your thunder
I didn't
stolen.
see signatures on their chests in the movie, so. But that is cool.
But he does have karate
It's a nice little signature.
Action. Yeah, it's like perfectly put on his tummy. I love it.
He didn't like bump into the green up there.
No.
It's just,
Whew.
Has a careful hand.
He must have done that a few times.
He's a man who knew what he was doing.
He's like,
man.
the spot on the tummy, right there.
Yeah, I've signed a Buzz toy or two.
I gotta see it again.
No, that's great though. That's great. You got to see that, and you got to see Tim and help out that theater. So that's really cool.
First name basis.
Yeah, well, he and I are tight.
Mr. Allen.
I was calling him Mr. Allen to all the people. I'm like, look, Mr. Allen signed his tummy, and I'm like, maybe people don't know who that is if I put it that way.
Mr. Allen, and
like signed by
and then when he
me.
comes out on the stage, they're like, oh, Tim,
Mr. Tim Allen.
Everyone's on a first name basis with Tim.
Yeah.
Well, we really only have two other things to talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird week because of the awkward openings.
Yeah.
And that we didn't go see an early show of yesterday. I'll see it this weekend though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's Angels trailer. We could talk about that one.
Right. None of us, I think, were excited about a Charlie's Angels movie reboot.
Yeah.
We're like, what? Why are they
Well, I
doing
remember
this?
we heard about it a while ago now, and then when we found out who was going to be in
Banks is directing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually kind of excited for that. I was like, okay, I'm not interested in a reboot of Charlie's Angels at all. But the fact that Elizabeth Banks is attached and that
she's got
she's
some
a
directing
great
chops.
comedy director and great with a female cast, from her work on Pitch Perfects. It's like, this could be something. This could be something, people.
And I mean, it's the thing that I've always find myself saying is everything's getting rebooted, everything's getting brought back. But so you kind of jaded when you see trailers, but if you kind of set that aside, I thought that, there was actually quite a bit to enjoy in the trailer.
They really played up Kristen Stewart's character a lot.
she definitely seems like the main one.
Right, probably because she's the only well-known
Yeah,
cast
she's definitely
member.
the biggest name. Well,
Naomi Scott's getting big, though.
she's getting bigger, and I'm sure Aladdin will help her a lot. But I
Right.
forget the other one's name. She's basically like a newcomer.
Yeah,
Right.
she's hasn't been in too much stuff for, well, not for a while, but she just hasn't been in too much stuff.
So was Elizabeth Banks Bosley in it?
One of them?
It seems like there's gonna be like multiple Bosleys because
Maybe.
it's probably like it's kind of probably gonna be like Men in Black, where it's like there's like a lot of different types of roles.
I'm Bosley in the U.S.
Yeah, it might be
Bosley-
something
I'm
like
European Bosley.
But yeah, no, she has that super like fashionable jacket. She's like, I'm
Yeah.
Bosley.
And it
I'm
has
like, okay.
Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, for like 5
He
seconds.
yelled "feisty" in the trailer, and I'm sold.
I know.
Feisty.
I love.
Yeah,
that
what
man.
else?
It's
What more do you
amazing.
need? But yeah, I mean,
a lot
it's
of action. It was really good.
Action looked good. Yeah, it did.
I mean, there's not a whole lot there story-wise, but
Right.
it just tells you what you need to know. It's Charlie's Angels. They seem to have good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple Bosleys. Patrick Stewart says feisty.
Yeah.
It's definitely not like the 2000s Charlie's Angels.
No, but I think
Definitely not
I think
Definitely
it
not
is-
looking like that.
I'm not getting excited for it. I hope I'm not being manipulated by the trailer, but I think
That's never happened before.
I think you'll be fine.
I think it'll be fine. Okay.
As we drip with sarcasm.
So check that trailer out because I think that one could be a low rumble and be something pretty good down the road.
I'm hoping
it always
so.
seems to come down to just if the quality has to be there, because it's who's to say if audiences will turn up for a Charlie's Angels reboot or not. We couldn't really tell for Men in Black, and we all saw how that turned out, but the movie itself was not very
we
good.
should have been warned ahead of time. We should have heeded the red flag warning when 15-year-olds didn't know what Men in Black was. We should maybe go ask her
Do you
this
know
time.
what Charlie's Angels is?
Yeah, do you have an idea what Charlie's Angels is? If she says no, we might have
I
another
don't
issue.
think I don't think she's gonna know what
She's going to
Charlie's
be our
Angels
gauge
is.
now. For
So
these reboots.
hopefully it doesn't turn out like Men in Black International, but
No.
if the quality is there, I feel like people will show up.
Yes.
I think this trailer is gonna surprise some people. I don't know if it's still gonna have that strong payoff in the long run as we get closer to the release, but at least to start off with, like, this was a good way of people being like, oh, Charlie's Angels, that's a weird reboot idea, but with Kristen Stewart and Elizabeth Banks, I don't know, this maybe
yeah.
the action, and like I said, the action looked good, the chemistry seems like it's all there, so maybe it'll be a surprise. We'll just have to wait and see, but
feel
good
like-
trailer to start
I feel
showing.
like Men in Black marketed its actors more than the film,
Like the tone,
of the story, whereas Charlie's Angels, while it did kind of focus on Kristen Stewart, it focused on action and humor And I think that maybe
no, that's a good point.
If they stick with that strategy, I think that
when
will
I think
help.
back to the Men in Black trailer, at least the first one, Tessa Thompson's character almost had like a spotlight, and it was all about her. And then Chris Hemsworth's character, what's his name, Agent K or Agent MH?
H,
one of a letter.
We'll call him
Agent Letter.
We'll call him Agent H for Hemsworth.
Yeah, the trailer's just kind of like zero in on this character, zero in on this, and then have those quick, random, nonsensical edits of some action, I guess. And this was just kind of the whole scope of it from the beginning.
We have big guns.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Need to go see a space gun.
But anyway, no, this trailer looks better than Men in Black International. Yeah, I don't know why we're comparing it to that. Probably because that's the most recent reboot.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna skip over one of our topics real quick because I think this is the perfect time to bring up that Paul Rudd just joined Ghostbusters 2020,
which is apparently called Ghostbusters 2020 now too. Did Paul Rudd release the title of the movie? Do we know that's what it was called beforehand?
His video is up on Silver Screen Insider's Facebook as well as our website, silverscreeninsider.com, and it's him in front of the Ghostbusters headquarters, and he's like, guys, I'm going to be working with Jason Reitman and making Ghostbusters 2020, and I'm sliming right now. I'm sliming all over. It's really funny. It's an awesome video. He kept calling it Ghostbusters 2020, and people are starting to run with, or sites anyway, are saying like, I guess it's Ghostbusters 2020, but
okay.
I don't know if it's.
I mean, it definitely makes it clear that it's not Ghostbusters, which was then slightly renamed to Ghostbusters Answer the Call because.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Edge of Tomorrow was subtly renamed to Live, Die, Repeat when it was like released on home media.
They were having their name changes were weird.
Yeah, so Ghostbusters 2016, the all-female one, is technically now Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
And it's being completely ignored for this.
Yeah. It's like,
we learned our lesson, guys. We're just... I don't think that they should completely throw it away because I
just don't think you have to acknowledge
Kate McKinnon's character in that so much, and Chris Hemsworth.
I just thought she was so weird.
I loved
but not in like a funny way. It was like...
I loved it. I loved the weird. I didn't like anybody else. I liked her weirdness. She was smart weird, and I liked that.
I wanted to think that she was the best of like the main Ghostbusters, but I honestly feel like she was just like on drugs while they were improvising that movie. Like, I don't know.
Well, as much fun as this is, I'd rather talk about Paul Rudd.
Yes, Paul Rudd is a great addition.
Paul Rudd is just I'm so great in everything.
Exactly. Yeah, he's great in everything. Like he always brings like a certain, I don't know, like really nice energy.
You just want to be his best friend.
Pretty much.
I think it's nice guy enthusiasm.
Oh yeah,
and he's never like dour. He's never down. It's always enthusiastic and good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can just see him fitting right in.
Yeah, I mean, there's no saying like what his role is. I mean, there's rumblings that he's just gonna play a teacher, probably to the young kids who I imagine are gonna be the new Ghostbusters. So there's not much to say about it other than that he's gonna be in it. So
alongside
at least
Sigourney
there's a little
Weaver.
bit more enthusiasm because of Paul Rudd.
Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Is that confirmed? I've heard it's
I think
rumored.
Sigourney Weaver I'm pretty sure is confirmed.
I think for sure we can agree that Dan Aykroyd is going to force himself to be in this somehow.
Well, he forced himself to be in the other ones, though.
I mean,
so did Bill Murray.
Reboot.
Well, but they had to make Bill Murray. They had to give him some cash, I'm sure.
Painful to watch.
Dan Aykroyd is like loves the Ghostbusters franchise. Yeah. Like I think he's like a producer now on this one too. So for sure, like he's probably going to be in it.
Yeah.
But Paul Rudd, he's
good news for the day. Paul Rudd, you're gonna be seeing more of him,
which I am always okay for. Give us more Paul Rudd.
Yes, I agree. And this, hopefully, they'll do a good job with this reboot because they learned that you can't just, I don't know, you have to have some passion, for it. I don't want to bash on Paul Feige and
Feig.
Okay, it's spelled
I was thinking
same.
of Kevin Feige.
Yeah, it's spelled the same way, people.
No.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't like bashing on it just to bash on it. But that movie really is not good.
No,
it's fine.
It's not.
I feel like they lost what Ghostbusters was supposed to be about. Just try to make a female comedy.
Well, they just put these actresses in front of the camera because they're all funny actresses in their own work. Mm-hmm. But you can't just put funny people in there and just have them improv. make a movie.
I have a little more faith just because this director is the son of the Ghostbusters director, and I think
I'm sure he grew up with it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he found a way to be able to tell a new Ghostbusters story that will still stay true to what Ghostbusters fans, and they're a very passionate fan base, actually. I found this out recently. But the really passionate fan base, and maybe other people too, who just want to see a cool looking Ghostbusters movie. I think he'll find a way to make that all come to light.
Yeah. Well,
last item on the agenda, which is more of an industry item that I think we have a little time for, is the Directors Guild of America has banned day and date films.
Well, they banned them from being eligible for their top prize. So, but
right, I think it's a baby step.
Well,
it's a baby step.
What does that mean exactly, in case if people aren't sure?
Yeah, I guess good point. Day and date is basically like when a streaming service releases their movie in theaters, but also drops it on their streaming service the same day.
Time.
So the DGA, the Directors Guild of America, they're making sure that that's not allowed.
Yeah, for their top prize.
For
like and they even renamed the top prize now. I think it's outstanding directing effort on a theatrical film or something, and it used to just be outstanding director effort on a feature film. But I don't know. It's a baby step, but I mean, like last year they gave Roma their top prize, and it's they obviously don't. Roma wasn't day and date, but
right. I feel like it's a micro baby step. So
how many movies are day and date still? Like big award season movies?
Not many yet.
I don't think they are.
No, because you have to have at least a 1 week theatrical run.
Yeah. So what is this really doing?
It's just making an official rule that used to not be official.
It's just technically a thing. I saw it more as just like a symbolic kind of we stand with theaters.
Right.
When in reality they're just like.
It doesn't really help theaters out anyway.
No, it doesn't really do anything.
I mean, these award shows still never really acknowledge the theater side of things, which understandable. It's a show about the arts. It's to promote like the art of the industry. But still, it's not really helping boost the morale of theaters or anything like that. It's not convincing people that hey, you should go see these in theaters.
Like The Irishman, the upcoming Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
Is probably most likely going to be a huge award season contender.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a Netflix movie that's going to do probably the Roma release strategies.
Maybe all this did was obviously be symbolic, but maybe you never know on the back end how many entries they were getting and inundated and that sort of thing. Maybe this cleaned up their process a little bit on the back end without excluding all those major directors that are now working with streaming sites.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it also, even though it's a micro baby step, it also gives us a floor. It gave us a line to start drawing, in the sand that says, hey, no day and dates. Then maybe the next step will be like, hey, no less than 2 week theatrical runs, or maybe we can grow from here.
Maybe.
Once you get accepting the first level, then I think you can grow to more restrictive things.
I'm trying to think of an actual day and date movie that was a big awards season contender. Was Beasts of No Nation day and date?
Actually, no. I think. Well, wait. No, I never had
that
a
was like
theatrical
2014
run.
Now, I think.
Yeah,
but
it was a couple years back.
Because that was, I think at Cannes. I remember the movie Okja also. That was a Netflix movie from a acclaimed Korean director.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was day and date because that was when like people were booing the Netflix logo at Cannes Film Festival, like right when the movie was starting. But since then, I know it's nice. It's a tiny little baby step. But when was the last time a day and date film was even a thing that theaters had to consider? I
can think maybe the only time it could come up in the future is a documentary. Like some sort of documentary might go day and date, and then.
But then it would still be eligible in this because this is only for the top prize.
Yeah.
Do you guys think other awards guilds are gonna be making this rule now that they see that the Directors Guild finally made the push to do it?
I think they'll probably do their own sort of symbolic thing where just in the grand scheme of things, they can technically say that they support the traditional theatrical model.
Okay.
But whether or not they're going to do something serious to ensure that, I don't think so.
And I think it's going to be a generational issue as well. I don't see younger creatives having the day and date issue as older people, because I think there's a lot of older creatives that got into the industry to make movies for theaters. I think there's a lot of younger kids that get into the industry to tell their stories, and they're so comfortable with technology. It doesn't matter how they do that.
That's a good point, as a lot of these awards guilds are going to be pushing for younger committees instead of having older ones, because that's a large complaint for a while these past couple of years.
Awards.
That is something that's going to happen too, is that effect is going to cause more people to be drawn towards having a lot of these movies that are on streaming still be considered, which is fine, but at the same time we still would like theatrical pushes for them as well.
Right. So we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think there's still culturally us trying to figure out, is a streaming movie more like TV or is it more like movies? Like what makes it its own thing and what makes it different? I think we're still wrestling with those questions.
Oh yeah,
like
for
we
sure.
talk about it all the time.
I still think that eventually people are just gonna be like, why do we have to choose between those two? They're just streaming, you know.
But I think there's and I'll always argue that there's enough difference. It's about the how you experience in the transaction of consuming. That
the way you
there's
experience
enough.
it is, I feel like, objectively more like television.
Yep.
But the way you create it, the artistic process behind it, writing the stories, you know, all the things involved in the production, that's absolutely a movie.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's all the same. It's
Well said.
is the end result on the consumer side. The only difference to it.
Yeah. The debate rages on.
Yes. Well,
Wonderful.
wonderful for the so this weekend we've got Yesterday.
Yep.
We've got Annabelle, and get ready, guys. Next Tuesday we've got Spider-Man.
Oh. Just kidding. I'm way more excited for Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer too for me as well. But I'm for sure going to be seeing Spider-Man opening day. Hopefully I'll have a nice review written up by Wednesday, so that way you guys can...
The official end to Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Even though
Phase 3, yeah.
End game you would think is the end,
Right.
but...
Apparently Feige says there's big reasons for it, and by the sounds of initial reviews already, there's some big stuff that's about to happen in it, so I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see that one.
I hope that there are bigger twists than Mysterio is actually bad.
I don't know. A lot of people are coming up being like, there's some good twists.
Well, the first one had
happening.
that amazing little twist with Michael Keaton
True,
being her dad.
but people are like getting more excited than even hope.
Being her dad.
Who's dad?
Oh, yeah, you never finished it.
I didn't finish it.
well,
It's like an
she's not
amazing...
gonna
Well,
finish it.
his Peter's like main love interest.
Oh, the other girl, not MJ?
Not MJ.
Yeah.
The other girl?
What's her name in the movie?
Liz.
How
do I remember
Yeah, he
that,
goes
but
to
not
pick her up and take her to
Chris
prom,
Hemsworth's
and Michael
character.
Keaton opens the door. And it's like, whoa! And then there's like an amazingly uncomfortable scene where he's driving them to...
Prom.
Yeah.
But in this one, they're saying there's going to be some big twists, and just about every review I've seen has people being like, you gotta...
Well,
You'll
see.
like it. I trust me. There's so I would be on the same page as you too. I'd be like, really, but everyone is saying that.
Nick Fury dies.
Well, everyone
The official
are
end.
wrong.
The official.
Sometimes.
That's the closeout Phase 3.
Yeah. Close out. Nick Fury. Goodbye.
Okay. Well, we'll see next week.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll let you guys know in my review if that's true.
We won't be podcasting next week because it will be July 5th and we will not be here.
4th of July.
We are taking extended weekend for the 4th of July.
Well deserved.
Super well deserved.
Nice.
Yeah, but we'll be back the week after that.
Yeah,
So.
with
we'll-
all of our thoughts on Spider-Man, on Midsummer, on...
It's whatever else is coming out.
Thursday
Trailers.
early shows for what's coming out?
Next week.
Stuber and
Oh, yeah,
and
that
or
kinda
Crawl.
Oh, yeah, I'll be seeing Crawl.
I want to see Stuber so bad. So I might go to that early show.
I'll flip a coin. I don't know which one I'm going to see yet. But
Why not
we'll figure that
both?
out later. It's not
All
a big
right.
deal.
Well, have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great 4th of July because we won't hear from us. So
Happy early Independence Day.
Go see Toy Story 4.
fireworks.
Go see all the movies.
Feel your soul. Okay.
Goodbye.